Hey guys, welcome back to the Rob Pop YouTube channel, your #1 pit stop for all things Eurovision this year, and it's time to get our prediction on as we look at who I think is going to qualify from semi-final 1 of Eurovision this year. That's right, we are officially 2 weeks away from Eurovision starting in Malmo. By the end of this week, rehearsals will begin, and that is when the rumour mill, the predictions will go in overload. So we're getting slightly ahead of the pace. This week, I'm going to be predicting who I think is going to qualify from semi-final 1 and semi-final 2, but in this video we're focusing on the first semi-final as I look at which 10 songs I think are going to make it through to the grand finale. This hasn't been easy, but I do have quite a good track record. If you want to go back through some of the last few years, I have actually done really well. I think last year I predicted 19 out of the 20 qualifiers. The year before I think was 18 out of 20, so I am quite good at this, but then I do feel like the bookies are getting better at doing this every year as well. So, you know what, maybe we are all just becoming a little bit better at predicting, but that is the name of the game today. This is not my personal feelings, this is not necessarily who I want to go through, it's who I think is going through. But before we do begin, as ever, it would be amazing if you could subscribe to this YouTube channel. It has been an amazing Eurovision year, but I am not done yet. I'm going to be taking you all the way up to May with reactions of who I think is going to win, talking about rehearsals, and I do think I might do a little vlog or two while I'm in Malmo, just documenting my experience. So if you want to join me for a camp old gay old time, that's what you're going to get here, all positivity, and come along for the ride. Let's just enjoy it together. Eurovision is meant to be fun. Let's not waste any more time because I reserve the right to change my opinion in the middle of making this video. But hey, we've got our cups of tea at the ready as always, and it's time to predict who I think is qualifying from semi-final 1. If I don't predict your country through, don't hate me. So how we're going to break this down, I'm going to talk about the 10 songs that I think are going to qualify first, but I'm going to split them up into songs that I'm confident about and then songs that I'm not as sure of. Then I'll talk about the songs that I don't think will qualify, starting with the ones that I think are on the borderline and then ones that I've kind of just ruled out altogether. So I have 6 songs. I'm like 99.9% sure are going to make it through to the grand final on Saturday, and we're starting off with the obvious one. We're going to start off with Croatia. That is Baby Lasagna's Rim Tim Tagi Dim. I mean, there is no world that this isn't making it. Will this be the televote winner? I would probably say so. The question marks over this song still remain with how are the jury going to treat it in the final, but when it comes to the semi-final, it's now 100% televote, and there is absolutely no way that this is not making it through. If I was to place my bets on who I think is going to win this semi-final, it would be with this song. Huge fan favourite, a very likeable performer, such a catchy song, performing in quite a good spot. Yeah, I mean, we all know this is going through, and I'm just solidifying that confirmation. Croatia are my first qualifier. And the second qualifier, Ukraine, again sits in a very similar boat to Croatia where there is just no world this isn't making it. Obviously it's a completely different entry, but in terms of slower, more sort of ballad thoughtful moments, this is at the top of those. I mean, this is still being talked about as a winner. Still don't know how I think about that, but no way this is not finishing top 5 in the televote of this semi-final. A definite qualifier. We don't even need to discuss this any further. Third qualifier I'm going for is Luxembourg. Now, when I first reacted to this back in, will it have been January? I remember saying, oh, this could make it, it might not. I was kind of on the fence. It's not the strongest pop song, and I think if this was performing earlier, I wouldn't be certain of it, but this is closing the show. Luxembourg are returning for the first time in however many years, and they're closing the show with a big pop banger. I discussed this in my analysis video, that obviously closing the final is a massive advantage. In the last 5 contests, the song that performed last would have made it through with the televote 100% of the time. Fiat Floma for Denmark in 2021 didn't qualify, but it would have been 7th in the televote. So I think it really does go to show that performing last really does benefit you in the televote, and this is no dud of a song at the end of the day. This is a straight up solid pop song with a very solid performer, very likeable performer. It's all just stacking up nicely for this song. How it does in the final is another matter, but we're talking getting through from the semi-final, and I just have no doubts over this from this running order position. We're seeing Luxembourg in the final, and welcome back to Luxembourg. The fourth certain qualifier for me, it's gotta be Lithuania. I did speak on my analysis video, but I think that the 3rd place running order is a bit rough for this, but it would take an absolute upset of all upsets for this not to make it. I think this is my favourite song of this semi-final. Obviously, no one's voting based off my opinion, but I mean, I really do think that this song is just so strong that it can qualify from absolutely anywhere. Sylvester is such a standout performer. The song sounds like no other. It's such a thumping, killer pop song, and I just think it's impossible to ignore. Again, there is just no way we are having a final without this song, and it would be a poorer place without it. We need a bit of Sylvester all the way through till Saturday. Oh, I know I do anyway.
I love this man, and I have to have him.
The fifth of my certain qualifiers, it may upset some people, but I have zero doubt that we are going to be seeing Finland on Saturday night. Again, in a semi-final where the jury are a part of it, I may have had doubts, but honestly, in a televote only semi-final, there is just no way that this isn't going to raise a lot of public support. As stage shows go, I think this is probably going to be the biggest stage show of the night. We already know from UNK what they're likely to bring. They may tweak a few things, but I think the size of it all, the grandiose nature, the shocking nature, the laughter of it all, this is going to make it. Even if it doesn't make it convincingly, it will do as well as maybe like Let Free did for Croatia last year with such a standout stage show. And Let Free qualified in 8th place. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you come 1st or 10th in the semi-final. Do I think it's going to make it somewhere along there? Absolutely. We're definitely seeing Finland in the grand final. I know a lot of people won't like that. I know some people will be upset with that, but novelty is still very much a strong part of Eurovision. I know my friends who I talk about it with who aren't die-hard fans, but they like to tune in just on a Saturday night. They are watching for the silliness of the stupidity. But outside of the Eurovision fandom, there is still such a massive audience for this kind of song. And I just expect that the televote is gonna go quite mad for this. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you now. And my final certain qualifier, I know some may disagree with this, but I really think it's just making it through, is Cyprus. I've seen quite a few people say they think this might be a shock non-qualifier. If that did happen, I really would be shocked. I don't see that happening. I think this is opening the show with such a bang. I think opening the show is a really great thing these days. It's only a 15-song semi-final, so I think people speak about first place like it can get forgotten about, but in my opinion, in the semi-final where there are 11 less songs than the final, the song that kickstarts the entire Eurovision year really has the opportunity to just stick in people's memory because they're so hyped and ready for the beginning. People sit down ready on a Tuesday night like, oh my god, Eurovision's beginning, we've been waiting for this all year. So as long as you kickstart that off with a bang, then I feel like you're in with a really good shot, and sometimes all you need is a straight up simple pop song to get people on board, and I think it's just going to kickstart Eurovision off in all the right ways, get people on their feet, get people partying, and that's why I have no doubts about this. Obviously Silia is young, I guess there are some doubts about that. Is a 17-year-old as likely to be able to pull off a killer performance as the likes of, you know, Eleni Ferreira? Possibly not, but we've seen young people kill it in the past. Stefania did doing Last Dance for Greece. That qualified comfortably. And I expect that Silia is just going to bring some real youth, some real fun, a real warmth and likability. And I would be really surprised if this didn't make it. Okay, so we've discussed the 6 songs that I'm certain of. We've still got 4 more songs to discuss that I think are qualifying, but these are the ones that I'm less certain of. I maybe have some question marks, so I wouldn't be as surprised if they didn't make it, but something has to fill those 10 spots, and I found it hard to feel confident about 10 songs in this semi-final. I guess the one that I'm most confident of is Poland, and they are my 7th qualifier. The only reason I'm not sure about this is because the hype around this has been quite muted. I feel like I've not heard many people talking about this song. It is, again, a very solid pop song. I think we've seen from the music video that this performer clearly has a vision, a presence as well, which is really important. I think as long as Luna and the Poland team take this down an artistic route, I think this stands a really good chance of being a shock standout of the night and actually doing a lot better than most people are thinking it will. I think they can really separate this from the other pop girls and make this feel like a real quality, solid moment. And Poland always do quite well anyway. I feel like they have quite a lot of support from the likes of UK, where they have diaspora. Ireland also in this semi-final. So I think diaspora always benefits Poland, but I don't think it can benefit a song that stands no chance, and this song stood a chance anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about this on like Friday night before the finals, talking about this as maybe like a shock top 10, because it's kind of flying under the radar right now, but I haven't heard a lot of people not liking it. It's just that it's not picking up as much love as some of the favourites, but a really solid performance for this could actually throw this in the mix for a top 10 or left-hand side of the board finish. Poland, my 7th qualifier. The 8th song that I'm going for is actually not predicted to qualify with the bookies at the moment, and that is Portugal. Now, currently Portugal are 12th favourite to qualify from this, so the bookies are not confident, but the reason why I am more confident is because of its running order. Now, this song is second to last in the running order, so it's performing very close to the end, and if you watch my analysis video for the first semi-final, I explained that in the last 5 years, 9 out of the 10 songs that performed second to last in their semi-final have made it through. The only song that failed was Burning Daylight last year, and in my opinion, that song was poorly performed, didn't come across well live, and was absolutely eclipsed by having Cha 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 come after it, which was like the ultimate fan favourite of all fan favourites. This year, I think that we're not talking about how good Islander is as a performer, and Grito is such a personal ballad that really just feels intimate. It feels really classy and classic, that I don't think this is going to get left behind. Now, I do have concerns that in a televote only semi-final, that it isn't the most televote friendly song. If the juries were in this semi-final, I wouldn't worry about it at all. And as I said when I reacted to it the first time round, I think if this song can make it through to the final, it could come top 10, because I think the juries are going to love it. The televote is the concern, but as I say, because of its place in the running order, I don't think people have a chance to forget about it. What is stopping this from connecting with the viewers? Not much. There are not many ballads in this semi-final, and at the end of the day, some ballads have to make it. I feel like people really overdo this thing where they think that the televote don't vote for any ballads whatsoever, and that's just not true. We never get 10 up-tempos go through and not all the ballads not make it. Ballads can connect. I feel like every year Portugal get underestimated and people never learn their lessons, so guess who has learnt their lesson? It's me, and I am going to say Portugal. They're my 8th country to qualify, and I'm like 70% confident about that. Okay, here is where I get super hazy. I have been switching this about all day, in fact for the last week. There are 2 spots left in my predictions, and the 4 songs that I have in contention for it are Australia, Ireland, Serbia and Slovenia. And I found it extremely difficult to work out which ones I think are going to make it. I think there are pros and cons for all of the songs. But one of the biggest things that is jumping out at me is that I don't think every song from the first half of the semi-final can make it through. The odds currently think that all 7 songs from the first half of the semi-final are going to make it. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. I think that is an oversight from the odds. Songs are going to be forgotten about for performing early, and I think that gives a chance to some of the later songs to stand out. And that's why the song that I've gone for as the 9th qualifier is Australia. This is not a favourite of mine, but I feel like this performing 3rd to last has the potential to feel like a real feel-good crowd moment. This song is all about inclusivity, about love, about everyone coming together. And sure, we know that theme has crashed and burned before. Let's speak to Ireland's Camel Toe from last year. We Are One absolutely bombed, so cool. That theme doesn't mean everything, but there's something about the warmth and the joy that is exuded from these performers that I think makes it feel like a lot more of a warm hug of a song. I think coming towards the end, this has the potential to feel like a really sweet moment that actually just gets the audience thinking, you know what? I'm going to vote for this. I feel like the mums are going to like this. I feel like this could get the mum vote. It could get like that Gustav surprise moment, you know, when everyone felt like they came together for Because of You when we got to Liverpool last year. I feel like this could be one of those songs that really grows on people when they see it live because the performers are so engaging. So that mixed with the running order, it just has more tick boxes in its corner for me. than some of the other songs that I've just discussed. I think that the barriers to get through this semi-final are going to be very small. I really do think it's going to be really close between like 9th and 12th, and it's just going to be a couple of points. And I can just see this picking up a couple of 3 and 4 points here and there, which is just enough to push it over the line just for being a positive feeling song. That's why I've gone for Australia. Am I confident about it? No. But I've got to find 10 somewhere, so there we go. So what do I go for the 10th qualifier? Again, I've said that I don't think every song from the first half of a semi-final can make it, which is why I haven't put both Serbia and Ireland through, but I've gone for one of them, and I've been going back and forth between which one, which means I think that 6 out of the first 7 will qualify. And I've gone for Serbia. Now, I know this is going to be a shock for people. The way that Ireland have rocketed up the odds in the last few days has really made me doubt my decisions. But you know what? I've just thought, stick with your gut instinct, because so often your gut instinct is right. And I just think the difference between Serbia and Ireland is the diaspora. Serbia so often qualify. They qualify a lot. So I feel like past form is on their side. They've got the likes of Croatia, Slovenia, Poland, Ukraine voting in this semi-final who tend to give them good points. And I think it just feels like a more votable song than Ireland. There's something about me that just thinks that Ireland might be a bit too Marmite. Whilst this song, even though it performs in second, it's a very emotional ballad. It's very stripped back, but I think the people who love this are going to really love this, and it's the sort of song I can see not getting loads of votes, but getting its 12s, getting its 10s, getting its 8s from just a small handful of countries, and that being enough to push it through. You just don't see Serbia not make it very often. Like even last year with Someone Mrs. Father, it was close. Luke Black literally finished in 10th, but as I've said, 10th is still a qualifier. I could see Serbia coming 10th again, but all that matters is that it does make it into that top 10. And I just think this might just have enough positivity going its way just to push it through. And look, Teodora, we can't just pin this all on diaspora. Teodora, you know, she's a great performer. This song is a big favourite for a lot of people. They absolutely love this song, and it really connects with people in that emotional sense. I don't know if I'm necessarily one of them, but you can't ignore the impact that this song does have on certain people, and I think it's just going to have enough love. Obviously, performing in second place is not a big vote of confidence for this. I think I would be a bit more certain of it qualifying if it wasn't performing in second place, but again, we're talking fine margins between what I think is going to make a song qualify and what won't, and this just has a little bit more of a chance, I think, but I could be talking on my arse here, but hey. So just to recap, the 10 songs that I think are going to make it this year are Croatia, Ukraine, Luxembourg, Lithuania, Finland, Cyprus, Poland, Portugal, Australia, and Serbia. They're your 10 songs. Am I sure of it? Absolutely not. Let's talk through the 5 songs a bit quicker that I think aren't going to make it. Starting with Ireland, I've just discussed, I'm so on the fence with this. If this does make it, I will be so happy because Ireland absolutely deserve it. They've taken a chance on Bambi Thug this year with a fantastic performer, a very engaging performer. Love them on social media as well. They are a hoot. And there is no denying that this song is gonna capture people's attention. It literally screams for your attention. But that doesn't always mean qualifier. Eat Your Salad for Latvia was a massive moment. That didn't make it with the televote. Songs like Telemorvej didn't make it for being artistic and a bit too out there. I think this song just could be a bit too polarizing. Ireland themselves don't have a lot of neighbours, they don't have a lot of diaspora going their way. On first listen, I found this a bit abrasive. Now, I do actually enjoy this song a lot more, and as I say, I am rooting for it to go through, but you have to remember for a lot of people, this is their first listen, and I think it took me at least 3 or 4 listens to try and get a hook from this song. I think image-wise and genre-wise, this stands out, but I do think that the song itself takes a few listens to not just be shocking. The bookies think this is making it. The bookies now have this in the top 10 to win. So I guess it would be a shock if it didn't make it, but every year has its shocks. And I don't see this getting through. My gut instinct just doesn't think it's going through. So I'm just gonna have to stick with that, and when I'm wrong, I will be so happy to be wrong, because I'm rooting for this. The next song that I had down to not qualify was Slovenia. I know a lot of people are raving for Rave and Veronica, but I think sometimes these darker pop moments don't always translate on the Eurovision stage. They can be really good in music videos, and they often make fan favourites, but I'm thinking of someone like Roxanne for Romania with Amnesia. When it actually came to the Eurovision stage, the intensity and the intimacy of it all and the darkness of it all just didn't translate, and in the end it almost feels a little bit off-putting. I think a lot of the other songs are a bit warmer. They are almost like, vote for me please, rather than these songs that almost come across a bit sort of like angry. And I mean, I can't deny that when I first heard this song, it took me a little bit to Echo by Iru, and that didn't make it last year. In the end, people were shocked that that didn't connect with the public, and I think it maybe just had too many layers in the end, and I think this might fall in the same boat. I don't think it's going to be people's favourite or second favourite, and a lot of people only vote for 1 or 2 songs, and I think this is one of those songs that a lot of people will have in their top 10. I have it in my top 10 of this semi-final, but it's not in my top 5. It will be getting a lot of trickle points, but not a lot of 12s, 10s, 8s, where I think a country like Serbia will. Another song that I'm not certain about is Azerbaijan, and that's because nobody is talking about this. I feel like the last 2 songs that I'm going to mention, people are talking about how it's like dead in the water, stands absolutely no chance. But I feel like no one's even talking about Azerbaijan at all. I think the song almost just kind of goes past you in a way that you respect it, but again, is it calling out for votes? I'm not sure that it is. It's another song that I'm kind of like, yeah, I like it, I respect it. Good for you. I think this might do better than people think. It wouldn't surprise me if this wound up being like 11th or 12th. So I haven't put it as like a definite non-qualifier, but when I'm trying to think of pros and cons, there's way more cons for this song than there is pros. So as much as I do think it's a decent enough song, I don't know if it's good enough. Then we'll move on to the 2 songs that I think just stand no chance now. I'm going with Moldova. If you watch my reaction to this video the first time round, I thought people were underrating this, and I was just like, I think this could shock people, especially because we know that Moldova can pull out some shocking staging, but there's just nothing pointing towards this actually shocking now. I don't see from like the pre-shows that they're going to switch up the staging much, and I think it is just going to feel too static, a bit too cold and sterile. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think this would need incredible staging to get it through, and we know that Moldova have tried that in the past with Ana Ovidescu, and it nearly worked. It got them to like 12th there. Again, that could happen here. I don't think this is going to finish dead last, but again, do I see it beating 5 other songs? I don't think so. They'll get a couple of diaspora votes here and there, but I think at the end of the day, the stage performance just isn't standout enough, and it will get forgotten about. And the final song, Hela Björk's Scared of Heights for Iceland. I think this is coming last. They don't have a lot of support from neighbours in this semi-final. They don't have the likes of, you know, Norway here. They don't have a Denmark here. So any trickle points they may have got from those are not happening. And at the end of the day, I just don't think this song is competitive. It's nice enough, but look, many of us have compared it to Embers by James Newman.
0 points.
I don't see this getting many points either. Definitely not enough points to qualify, so this is the song I would be most surprised to qualify. As likeable as Hela Björk is, and she is Mother, we won't deny her that, the song's not going anywhere. So those are my opinions. Do you agree with me? I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below. Can you not believe that I think Bambi Thug is going to not make it? Do you think Australia might fail to make it? I really want to hear your opinions and gauge whether you think I'm going to be right on this. Give this video a like if you enjoyed what you saw. Hit that bell if you want notifications every time I upload a new video. But we're about to head into Eurovision rehearsal week, so all of this could change. So thank you very much for watching. Sending love to all 15 countries in this semi-final, and I wouldn't be mad if any of you qualified. See you in Malmo, and good night.